Hey, how's it going, everybody? I wanted to record an intro video for the first week, and I'll do a video probably every week to give an idea of what the topics are for the week. We'll meet in person and stuff, and we'll have Zoom and other stuff like that too. But just to keep us give an idea of what the agenda is for the week, so we can keep on task for what we have to do for the semester and that kind of stuff. But first off, welcome to virtual reality. This is going to be a super fun class. I'm excited for it. This is one of the classes I've developed as I've worked here at the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford, and it's super exciting to A, be able to do that, and B, to see something as it evolves. Like we had Oculus Rift DK1 and 2 is a development kit, 1s and 2s. Oculus Rift CV1 is the consumer version one. HoloLens, we had a Microsoft HoloLens like when it first came out, thanks to Professors Ken Wang and Don Lewicki for putting all this together. But it's given us a chance to use these technologies in classes. Um, and let me start off by talking a little bit about that. So, for the past couple of years, we've had students that have done different kinds of simulator software. This is one that you'll do as part of the class. Um, TRAPPIST one, which is a solar system, an actual solar system. Um, that's really far away, but you get to experience it in VR as one of the first things that we're going to do. Um, but the idea is to use virtual reality as a training tool, and we've developed different kinds of things in that vein and worked with different kinds of hardware in that vein, and we'll talk more about that. But it's been exciting to start something that's on the cusp of new technology. VR is still really new, of course. It has ups and downs, but that's another exciting part about classes like this. Okay, as you get to upper level courses, you're starting to specialize in different technologies and different theories. And part of as you're getting to finish a bachelor's degree is that you should be at the level where you can start analyzing technologies, something like VR, or mobile application programming, or blockchain, right? Stuff like that. What is this technology? What's going on with it? Who's doing new stuff with it? How can I use it? How is it relevant to places I work at or what I'm studying, that kind of thing? And start being able to observe things, figure out how to apply those new technologies and projects that you might be doing, and how to synthesize information. I guess is really kind of the point. To take something like VR, we're going to learn how to use Unity, which involves 3D modeling esque tough 3D objects, C sharp building projects, and using code and using the Unity editor and modeling games and VR as Unity does, and figuring all that out, coming up with some concept for a project, specking that out in some form or fashion so you understand what it is that you're going to do, writing some stuff about that, uh, and finishing the project, like as you would do in a business, like you would be expected to do for a master's degree, where you would have a topic in class, you'd have to read a bunch of research and synthesize that information and come up with your suggestions or a project or a way to improve things. So that's really my point with these kinds of classes is that let's dive into VR. We have a whole bunch of equipment we can use. We're going to make sure that everybody has equipment to use and to be able to develop on from the wide range that we have available. And B, I'm going to get that equipment to you, cleaned of course, and we'll just set it up so that you have equipment that you use for the semester. So either you are coming in on campus and using it, or we set you up wherever you're at. We figure something out so everybody can do a project. If we end up working together with somebody else on those projects, that's fine, but we'll talk more about that as the semester goes on. So, to begin with, I wanted to say welcome. Thanks for being here. Um, and I want to explain how the scheduling is going to work and that kind of thing. So uh, let's see here. Let me get to our VR Fall 2020 class schedule. So this right now I'm on the 16th. I'm a little early. I'm ahead of schedule. Um, but I wanted to record this video to get things introduced, and so you understand everything that's going on. This semester is a bit different than a normal semester, correct? Right? Um, so our schedule is a little bit different than normally would be. So this class meets. Um, let's go back to the beginning. Where are we? So this is a Tuesday class, right? So today's the 16th, and our schedule for the fall is a little bit changed. Remote classes are starting on the 19th, okay? So our first class um, would be, or will be, on the 25th. Our actual first real class will be on the 25th. And I'll be on campus, we'll be in person for that class, okay? So I'm going to be taking more pictures and organizing my VR equipment. And getting equipment to you guys is probably one of the first important things to do. So August 25th is our first official day of class. Okay. I'll be on campus for that day, and I'll post the schedule in Canvas, and make sure that we have it there also. Um, but I'll go on campus every other week. When everybody was surveyed for what they wanted to do in class, about a third of the students wanted in person, a third wanted remote, and a third didn't answer. So I figured, hey, I'll do in person every other week. So that way there's resources if other people on campus need them, et cetera, and I'm not showing up for in person if there's only going to be a few people every single week. Um, and we'll certainly have enough time to compensate everything, and we can figure out if we have to do individual stuff too. We just have to make sure whatever the rules are for me to getting in the room and so on. But these are official dates. So 8:25, our first day, I'm in. 2:36, we've got a bunch of riffs in there, and I want to figure out on that first day what equipment do people need, and how do we get that to everybody, and so on. I'll be in class, but I also post a Zoom link and do a Zoom meeting at the same time. I don't know if we'll stick with Zoom for the whole semester or use Teams or Slack or whatever. We have different options. I'm up for anything. Doesn't matter to me. I use Teams a lot for a lot of other work I do. I use GoToMeeting for a lot of stuff. I use Zoom for stuff when people use Zoom. I used 3 or 4 other ones that different companies use. Whatever. So I use Zoom as a placeholder to start with. Either way, we'll have an online meeting and in person on the 25th, then just online on the 1st, and then back in person on the 8th, and then just online on the 15th, and back in person on the 22nd. So every other week, I'll be on campus on Tuesday. Okay? If I'm not on campus, we'll have a Zoom meeting anyways, and we'll have our class remotely. If I'm on campus, we'll have a Zoom meeting anyways too. So if you don't want to be on campus, if you either don't want to be there or can't be there, etc., you'll still see what happens. Everyone will be able to participate both ways. So whatever way you want to do it, you're going to be able to see it the entire time. Okay. So I'll be able to see in person, see virtually through Zoom or whatever too. So again, we can change from Zoom to something else. We'll talk about that. But I'll probably just post the link in Canvas, the day before every week. Okay. And then whatever we have, we'll use. So maybe it's Zoom for a few weeks, and then we decide we want to use Teams or something else, and we do that. So either way, we'll record those and have those available. Okay, so that's the schedule. 1 week on campus and then 1 week remote. Every time it's a Zoom meeting, so that you can always participate, and everything will be recorded. We'll have all that information. Okay. So that's the first thing. We'll put that in Canvas also so you can get at it. I'll have that whole schedule in there, okay? The next thing is the syllabus that I wanted to look at. So the syllabus is in Canvas. Um, Once you go to the course, you should see the course. I'll go to my dashboard and start from there. So actually, if you get to see this on the dashboard, um, it's kind of cool. This is a selfie I took using Oculus VR, so pretty fancy. But anyways, in here is our syllabus. Okay, I've added some videos around it. Try to make this part a little bit more interesting. Typically, it's pretty boring. It's a PDF. Let's add some videos. Try to spice it up a little bit. You know what I mean? I like things spicy a lot better that way. So these are some short videos that I'd like you to watch. Um, they're pretty cool, talking about virtual reality and training. So in VR, we want to learn about virtual reality technology, learn about options in virtual reality technology, and figure out how to apply that for businesses or organizations to improve processes in some form or fashion. It doesn't have to be specifically for a business, but what value can we get out of this for businesses, society, etc. So these are examples to talk about training for customer service, training for factories, safety training for lots of different jobs, and dangerous procedures for places like oil refineries, aircraft repair, working around airports, and anything where it's training for that is hard to do in person because it's a dangerous act. Okay, if you can do that virtually, it's very easy to build that kind of stuff in Unity. You're just putting assets together. Typically, you're building assets and pulling them into Unity, and then having some kind of scripts for reaction to them. This is another one: HVAC, heating, ventilation, and control. So um, this is a great example because it shows all um, details of user interfaces, menus, that kind of thing, parts that you would use in operating both tools while you're working in a job, and also what the equipment itself operates like, right? So if you think about stuff like that, like in those examples, HVAC I think is a great example of that. You could have very expensive equipment that is hard to set up. Complicated, expensive equipment is hard to set up and hard for everybody to be able to purchase. But instead, you've got a headset and a computer, a couple $1,000s, and if we look at the Oculus Quest, we're down to $500, right? This will drop in price. Easy to do training. So virtual reality, I think it's going to be hard to beat virtual reality for training for the next 5, 10, 15 years. This is going to be the market, okay? Customer service training, equipment training, that kind of thing. Pretty tough to beat. Really realistic scenarios other than setting up entire environments. So that's a good focus, I think, for us to learn. It's a scope for us to look through virtual reality to learn about it. So um, the textbook is called Virtual Reality with VRTK4. Okay, VRTK4 is a really cool virtual reality toolkit that this is what it looks like in Unity. Basically, it's a project with example scenes and all the pieces of prefabs, what they're called in Unity, all the game objects you can use to have avatars with hands and interactive pieces and so on. They're all built for you, so you can quickly build virtual reality prototypes and then work on getting those to work well with your equipment, whatever that may be. Okay, so one of our first tasks will be downloading Unity and VRTK and GitHub so that we can get a copy of VRTK and open that up in Unity and work with it. Okay, so Unity is a really cool tool. It's works good on pretty much any kind of hardware. It's an integrated development environment. It allows you to develop games. right? Virtual reality is developed a lot in Unity. Unreal Engine is another possibility. There's lots of other possibilities. There are a few other possibilities out there for IDEs and engines you can do for virtual reality development. I pick Unity and VRTK. I review every semester when I teach this stuff, and I figure out, all right, what is the latest stuff out there? Is it anything that's better and easier, that's well supported or better supported than whatever I'm using? But Unity for VR is hard to beat at this point. Also because VR equipment, you know, quickly gets eclipsed and becomes obsolete, right? But that doesn't really matter for us on the research side. Um, Let me talk about that quickly for a second. So I've got Oculus Go's, I've got Android phones that you can use for phone VR, etc. You may think, oh, why would I want to use old equipment and so on? When it comes to research, a lot of what you're trying to develop is the methodology and the process. Okay, so if you come up with a way to do safety training for firefighters that works on Android phones with cameras, or excuse me, with cardboard, Google Cardboard or Daydream View, or that's fine. You can re-implement that in Oculus Quest or Valve Index or whatever else higher, better, greater thing that comes out. Not really a big difference. Prototyping, can be done on any kind of equipment. The idea is getting that process, meaning that piece of software, the project in Unity, actually working well. Okay, so if you want to use an Oculus Quest, and we only have a couple Oculus Quests, and it's not possible for everyone to have it, or so on and so forth. I wouldn't. It's fun to play with the Quest because it's a really cool device, but you want to develop this for any kind of equipment that's out there, basically, right? And B, you want to get that process of coming up with an idea and finishing it with whatever you have and getting it done well, with some documentation, a paper about it, that kind of thing. That's really what it's about. Okay, and trust me, if you get that done on whatever hardware it is that you're working with, you can port that to anything else, and if you do a great job of that, I'm sure that there's be a lot of possibilities for you to be able to buy all kinds of hardware in the future with it. VR is a big, expanding industry. 2019 already was like $5 billion in virtual reality training software sold. Walmart has 40,000 Oculus headsets that they use for training in different types and capacities. There's several countries like Japan and Germany that if you're going to fly an airplane, you have to go through virtual reality training to be able to fly. So there's a lot of parts of VR that are being integrated into training right now with what's already obsolete Oculus Rift headsets. So because it's become already known, just like in some ways 3D printing prototypes is already known to be cheaper and easier. So it's not perfect, but it's cheaper for a lot of different things. So that's why training has become so big so fast. So we'll start with some simple stuff. Like I said, the TRAPPIST one is like a really basic virtual reality example. It's a single position VR simulator where you hang out in the middle of this solar system and you can kind of we'll start where you can just look around and then you can fly around in the solar system. So a simple, easy something for us to start with. Again, that'll work on any kind of hardware. So that's what we're going to start with is the initial textbook and setting up VRTK, getting that working. That's in Unity. And then doing TRAPPIST 1 with whatever equipment we have, again in Unity. Okay, so the textbook is in the syllabus. You can look at that. And one more thing I want to plug before we are done. In January will be the Global Game Jam. We've done this at the University of Pittsburgh or Bradford for the past 6 years. So this will be or excuse me, that was our fifth, so this will be our sixth global game jam. Um, I'd like you to participate if you're not into games that much. Um, that being said, this semester you'll be learning about Unity, so we could use your help. And game jams, I think, are a fun way to get another example of project experience. You have one weekend, 48 hours to come up with some concept, get it done with people you may not know. So I'll be plugging that throughout the semester. We'll be doing that in January. If you have any other game jams that you know of that you're interested, other kind of things like that, I'm up for that kind of stuff. I'll help organize it, help us do it, that kind of thing. So check out the class info in Canvas and check out the syllabus. Take a look at the textbook. There's another textbook that I used previously that's in there that we'll check out a little bit too. They're both in library.pit.edu, so you can get them for free there. Take a look through those. Download Unity if you can on a device, and if you want to tool around with VRTK, you can do that too. But start feeling out the stuff, and then we'll meet again in person on the 25th. So 8:25 will be in person on Tuesday, and we'll also have the Zoom meeting on 8:25 too for anyone that won't be there in person. And every week we'll have Zoom, and then I'll be in person every other weekend. So, all right, check everything out. Let me know if there's anything. Do you need help with the start? You can email however you want to do it, and let me know. And then we'll see each other on the 25th. Thanks.